The threat of violent extremism poses a significant challenge to countries and governments. To prevent the proliferation of violent extremism, governments must identify key leadership, influencers, and organizers within their borders and ensure that those individuals don't infect others with their dangerous ideology, all while ensuring the preservation of civil liberties and protecting the rights of their citizens. Using Wynyard Advanced Crime Analytics, we will demonstrate how governments can employ social media in conjunction with other available data sources to discover and identify new persons of interest and identify those at risk of being indoctrinated. In this approach, we use known violent extremists and work outward in order to maximize the privacy and civil liberties of the general public. This snapshot shows a violent extremist social media site and the online personas affiliated with that site. From openly available social media data, we have identified connections between those affiliated with the site and with one another. Those in red represent profiles that have already been flagged as known members, recruiters, financiers, or otherwise involved in extremist activities. Those in purple are merely affiliated with the page, something that by itself is not indicative of wrongdoing. Using our social network analysis filters, we can quickly separate those who are merely curious and on the periphery of the network from those who are well connected and central to the network. Taking the filtered entities to a new graph, we see the extremist webpage, Khalid Farahat, and Lynn Huell. Khalid is already on the watch list, and we can see from his properties that he is a known recruiter for the organization. We have not been actively tracking Lynn, but our connections indicate that we need to take a deeper look to determine how and why she is involved. Since we are mining other social media sites and blogs, we can run a custom query to see if we can find additional connections or information about her involvement with Khalid or other violent extremist actors. Because of Wynyard ACA's ability to integrate and connect disparate forms of data, we're able to find a unique connection. A known username of Khalid's is active on another extremist message board, and the email address used on Lynn's social media profile was used to register for another screen name on that same message board. We can run a query to see if the two communicated on the same thread. We find a post in which Khalid addresses Jihad Jewel directly and directs her to contact him at his email address. We are only able to make this connection because of Wynyard ACA's text mining capability that extracts usernames, email addresses, names, and other relevant information from the text and correlates it with other data in the system. Note the date of October 2012, over 2 years ago. Open source and social media aided us in identifying a new lead and person of interest, but we are limited since much of the planning and in-depth discussions will happen via email or password-protected sites. So we can use our other available data sources to explore deeper. We put a trace on the Jihad Jewel username to return an IP address, and we can see that that IP address traces to Boise, Idaho. From here, we can use our advanced search capability to look for names that are similar to Lynn Huell in our database. One of the databases that I have integrated into the system provides the names and registered addresses of those with U.S. passports. I can take the rough matches to Lynn and expand to see the registered addresses. By viewing the resulting addresses on a map, I can see that one of the addresses matches closely to where the IP was geolocated. I can see that that address belongs to Lynette Huell, and there's a good probability that she is a match to our person of interest. By expanding Lynette's passport, I see a photo that looks strikingly similar to the one on the Facebook page. We can also expand to see the flights taken using this passport. We can take the results to a new map and pull up our timeline to see that Lynn flew into Italy in November of 2012 and out of Turkey a year later. This is a strong indication that Lynn received training in the Middle East over the year only to return to the United States. Note that the initial flight was only a couple of months after Khalid reached out to her. Lynn's been back in the United States for over a year. Due to continued activity on social media and message boards, we suspect she is serving a role as a recruiter. And because she is female, we suspect female recruits are the likely targets. We are particularly concerned with minors under 18 years old because they are most vulnerable and easily influenced. I can quickly sort through our Facebook friends to filter those under the age of 18. Using another quick query, I can pull back just the females. I now have a list of females under the age of 18 that law enforcement or social services can follow up with to ensure they are not being radicalized or recruited to be sent abroad. In this demonstration, we showed how social media and other available open source information can be effectively layered on top of your existing databases to create connections and enrich your information. We showed how law enforcement or intelligence organizations can leverage social media to identify persons of interest and potential members of violent extremist organizations while protecting civil rights and individual liberties. We demonstrated how data analytics can help us not only track the criminals, but identify and protect those at risk.